This is a free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo Copeland. The first half of this book is posted right here on YouTube, free for everyone to listen to. If you like this content and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.
Chapter 11. Reinventing Ideal. Responsibility for his outcomes. The irresistible man will not let his life be dictated by the mercy of happenstance. He does not drift through life accepting what breadcrumbs fall from the master's table. He does not hope that someday fate will play out in his favor. Like the ending scene from Dumb and Dumber, when the two main characters are given a chance to travel the country with the Hawaiian Tropic Girls, but their stupidity causes them to pass it up, leaving them to hope they'll catch their break someday in the future. The attractive man is more like Benjamin Harris in The Pursuit of Happiness, who lets nothing stand in his way of attaining the life he knows he and his son deserve. This means not staying put in life with a minimum wage job, while also meaning you do not see the only job available as one that's beneath you, but rather seeing every job as an opportunity and stepping stone to the next stage in life. Having a plan with the stepping stones plotted out, being on purpose. Having a purpose will go a long way in this fight. Your purpose in the pursuit of women cannot be the pursuit of women. A woman does not want you to make her your entire world. While that may be the fodder of Hallmark Channel movies and chick flicks, what she prefers is that you bring her into your own world. You must have a deep purpose and passion that you are pursuing. Never let her derail or distract you from that purpose. In his landmark book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill writes that men seldomly succeed before age 40. Much of the reason for that, he describes, is that younger men are often driven entirely by sex and the desire to win a woman's approval, which neither helps them become successful in life, nor with the women they wish to please. But after 40, something magical happens. Their sex drive becomes transmuted into a new drive for success. Perhaps at this age, the man is already married and has fathered children, all of which causes a decrease in testosterone and sex drive. But the drive is focused elsewhere, in his career, his community, or his commitments to excellence in other areas. The man often takes leadership positions as he's had practice doing it in his own household. And it's no mistake that men at this age are more appealing to women. The attraction to men becomes stronger as they age. So the objective here for you is to reverse this in your life. Put your purpose and drive elsewhere, away from the sexual prowl for women, and they will be more drawn to you. It's easy to lose money chasing women, but never will you lose women chasing money. Self-improvement. While the first step is to find your purpose, which can be a business, artistic endeavors, or anything at all for you to work on and direct much of your effort toward, there is one purpose that every man should have: self-improvement. This is one that will require lots of time, energy, and even money, because everything within you will fight improvement. The mind is quite the freak of nature, simultaneously the source of your greatest strength and your greatest weakness. This is best on display the moment you realize a change is necessary, because then the internal cockroaches awaken, scattering as the light shines, to shoot down every action for improvement you even think about, giving you an excuse not to do it. And often those excuses are powerfully convincing. It will feel like everything within you is fighting improvement. This is made possible by the fact that your mind is not programmed with the purpose of making you happy, smart, healthy, rich, or even just a little better off. The only programming it has is for survival. The only craving it carries is comfort. Like a drug, it will latch onto it, and only intense treatment will break it away, as any addict can testify. It proclaims falsehoods to you like, if I do change, the people pressuring me to do so will think they've won. To think I need improvement is to admit inferiority. This is who I am. I can't hide from myself. When good things happen to me, good changes will happen. Till then, I'm getting nothing but bad. Let's knock down every one of these excuses one by one. First, people are pressuring you to change. The truth is that most people couldn't give a damn whether you do or don't. Second, about inferiority. Do you mean to say you're perfect and everything in your life is perfect? Even if it's awesome, something is bugging you as it compelled you to read this far. Third and fourth, you are not the result of what happens to you. You are not who you think and feel you are. You are only who you choose to be. And that speaks to a larger point. Your mind is not you. It's only part of you. And its part is to protect and preserve. It evaluates things not on their full value, but primarily on just their convenience. Nothing more. And in its vain attempts to protect you, it feeds you more bullshit, all of which is easy to adhere because it's just so convenient. It will deliberately misinterpret any criticism as a personal attack on you, like pathetic politicians in debates, claiming any criticism of their policies or philosophies is a ruthless attack on their character. You can hear it now. Who's this asshole to call me pitiful and point out my faults? Mr. Perfect? I bet he's got an extreme inferiority complex and wrote this whole thing just to make everyone else feel as miserable as he is. It will deny attention to the message by giving it to the messenger. The content of the message is also lost by focusing entirely on the tone with which it is delivered. It will make you rationalize all you can't stand. Soon you hear yourself saying, "Oh, things aren't all that bad." It's all too easy to look at the past through rose-colored glasses. How often do you dwell on previous depressions, rejections, and suicide attempts when reminiscing about the good old days? And when looking forward, people are no better. It's just as easy to say, if I just keep doing the things I'm doing, I'll get my break. If I keep withdrawing $500 from the ugly teller, then deposit it the next day to the cute teller, she'll think I'm rolling in dough within a few weeks, after which I'll have the balls to do something more than just small talk with her. It will fool you into thinking happiness is not something you really want, because happiness takes effort. And who wants to put that out? That means you'll have to get up off your ass. All real lasting happiness is earned. To earn, something must be created, and it's so much easier not to bother, because when you don't, no one can trash what you've created. But do you find even a smidgen of joy from being that jerk that trashes what others create? This movie sucks. This song is so annoying. This famous person or politician or actor or singer is a total waste of space. Their kids are a mess. This author is a pretentious, pompous asshole. How long does the satisfaction from saying that last? Because we do it ourselves, we know all too well that whatever we create, no matter how good or bad it is, there's always going to be a good portion of asswipes that will piss all over it. It's no different from when your single friends don't want you to get married, or if you've dropped out of high school with your friends and they don't want you to go get your GED or work towards college, or even worse, doping buddies don't want you to go to rehab, because you'll be a reminder to them about the things they despise in themselves. But that's all you must remember. Every entrepreneur feels this when they're called crazy for wanting to start a business. The warnings they're given might even be dished out with the best of intentions, but the reason they're given is because the critic is afraid to do the same thing themselves. They think they'd fail if they tried. So if their great almighty ass can't do it, surely neither could you. The same is said when it comes to doing the difficult task of talking to the most beautiful girls in the room. When you're learning to do it, people may make fun of you. Look at that loser learning to talk to girls, when in reality, they're only making fun of you because they wish they had the balls to do it themselves and the humility to seek out the material that would teach them how to do it. Often said by the onlookers is something like, if I only had this much money, time, or resources, I could produce the best book or website or music. But those things you need in order to do something never come around, so nothing gets done. But the thing remains perfect in your mind because it hasn't taken any criticism due to its lack of existence. Just as how we make excuses saying, I'll approach that pretty girl when I have a more respectable job, a more desirable physique, or a cooler car. Those things will never come around, and if they do, they'll never come to be as satisfactory as you feel they need to be in order to make that approach. What's funnier is that it's never been easier to produce that thing than it is now. No matter how big the dream is, there is a way. You want to start a business but have no capital? Well, hello, Kickstarter. You want to write a book but can't find a publisher? Hello, Kindle Direct Publishing. You want to be a musician but don't know how to get signed? Hello, SoundCloud. Everything you need is right here. But I don't have the time, they say. There are 168 hours in each week. You work for 40 of them, so that's 128 hours left. Sleep for 8 hours each night, that leaves you with a solid 72. That's 3 whole days. What are you doing in them? Video games? Facebook? TV? Porn? Do those things really make you happy? Scratch out the words "I don't have time" and say what you really mean, which is, it's not a priority. Working out, self-education, showing your sweetheart how much you love them. How do those things measure up on the list of priorities? I don't have time to work out is really my health and fitness are not priorities. I don't have time to read that book is really gaining knowledge and growing is not a priority. I don't have time to write that sweet love note is really my relationship is not a priority. Now she'd love to hear that, won't she? I can't means I won't. Which is harder to bear, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret? Money matters. Many of the most bitter guys complain about this one. Why should money matter? Why can't she love him for who he is and not the things he can buy her? That is what they think. And they are right to think it. But you are not getting better at money for women. You are getting better at it for yourself. It has been said that you will never lose women chasing money, but you will lose money chasing women. The fact of the matter is that dating and self-improvement costs money. If a guy is working a minimum wage job and seemingly going nowhere in life, his options with many things, such as where he can live, what he can drive, and how well he can eat, are limited. So too are his options with women. It feeds right into hypergamy, which many guys are disgusted by. They can't be blamed, but as stated before, hypergamy is just in their nature. In the same way, guys are driven by the beauty of a woman and want to be with the ones way out of their leagues. Women know this and use the biological imperatives of males to their advantage. Therefore, to be irresistible, you must use women's hypergamous imperatives to your advantage. Giving greater attention to your money situation and management of it will benefit you far more than it does her. While a detailed list of steps for getting better with money is beyond the scope and subject of this book, the author has decided to share his best resources with you. Mint.com. This website will allow you to stay on top of all your money. It helps you track expenses, income, credit ratings, and establish budgets. This will be the first and best step in becoming better with money. What gets measured gets managed. Listen Money Matters. This podcast covers everything from saving, spending, to investing money. Unlike many other financial podcasts, this one's entertaining and hosted by two normal guys that make the subject easy to understand. The truth about money. Rick Edelman has put together what is perhaps the most comprehensive money guide for all people. It covers every aspect of a person's financial life and can be used as a reference book for whatever situation you find yourself in at any given time. But also, reading this book from cover to cover will give you an edge in life most others will never have. Nerdwallet.com. It helps you slash expenses by helping you find the lowest price for big expenses like education, healthcare, and travel expenses. It also has a tool that helps match people up with the credit cards and banks that are best suited for them, as well as a cost of living calculator for all the major cities in the 50 states. The subject of money is one that the author has had great personal experience with, especially when it comes to improving one's own financial outlook. Further, the financial world has dramatically changed for men, almost to the point where men need to take a dosage of a financial red pill of sorts. That will be the title and subject of the author's next book, The Financial Red Pill, which will be released by June of 2020, to be continued there. Audit your life. In order to find your purpose in life, you must clean out the clutter. A minimalist mindset is very beneficial for this. Perhaps a better term than minimalism is essentialism. Perhaps you've heard of the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts. A businessman will tell you that 80% of his revenues come from 20% of his customers, so he focuses on doing all he can to appeal and retain those customers. Is it possible to apply this principle to all areas of life? In fact, yes. Start with a purge of your possessions. How many clothes do you have stuffed in your closet and dresser that you do not ever wear and you could donate? Here's a challenge for you. Go through them all and keep only the ones that you actually wear. Then you will find that your mood improves because you have less clutter to organize and you end up only wearing the clothes that you love. Then do this for the rest of your possessions. How much shit do you have laying around that you never use? Gather it up and give it away. Chances are, if you're not using it, you won't miss it. This is the first step toward a simplified existence and a happier existence. You now have less stuff to take care of, organize, and maintain. When you search for something to wear, it takes less time to decide because your options are limited. More options do not make you happier, but rather paralyze you from acting because there's too much to choose from. But when you have less options, you will feel more confident that you made the right choice. Of your possessions, save only 20% of them. Donate or sell the rest. Continuing with this theme, ask yourself of all the hobbies you do, which of them make up the 20% that give you the most joy? If you trim out the remaining 80%, you will then be able to dedicate more time to the ones you like best. As a result, your life will be happier. Next, ask yourself, of all the people you know and spend time with, which ones make the 20% that you enjoy seeing the most? Cut the remaining 80% out of your life, and that way you can spend more time with the ones you enjoy the most. And finally, what 20% of each day are you the most awake and productive? Ask yourself if there are any distractions that need to be removed and avoided during that time. Soon you'll start to see yourself making each day count more and more. The less there is to worry about, the more you can focus on what matters most to you. A man who owns 3 houses may seem to have it all, but think about the worry that must come along with them, as they must be insured, maintained, cleaned up, and protected. This man is not as happy as the one with just 1 house to take care of. Defining your life's purpose. The great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." This is true of so many things in life, but is especially true when it comes to becoming the irresistible man. When you have a purpose, so many of your problems in the pursuit of women seem to solve themselves. For instance, appearing too available to her is a turnoff to her. Focusing on your purpose will prevent you from doing that. A guy that has nothing going on in his life and appears to be going nowhere is a turn off to her. Having a purpose to pursue will prevent that. If she flakes on your date with her, it can ruin your weekend. Having a purpose to fall back on and go to work on can mitigate that. Finding this purpose is absolutely imperative. There are many purposes you can serve, and showing you how to find yours or listing off the many potential purposes is beyond the scope of this book. But what this book will do is give you a method for realizing which purpose is the one you'll enjoy the most. And that reality is a vital element, because the more you enjoy your purpose, the more you'll stick to it, and the better it will be to solve your problems with women. This works most effectively when the motivation for your purpose is greater than your motivation for a woman's company, and it's even more effective when you truly enjoy doing it. To find such a thing, you'll not only need to define what you'll do, but also why you'll do it. The clarity will increase your motivation to do it, and operating from a deep conviction has you working with authenticity and always at peak performance. So how do you figure it out? Look over the goals you have for your life, excluding any involving women, and think to yourself what you'll have to do to attain them. But then ask yourself this question: what about blank is important to me? Use the first answer that comes to your mind. But don't stop at the first one. Continue working through this exercise. Case in point, Jonah hypothesized that his purpose was to be a writer of horror novels, and his goal in it was to be a best-selling author. Here's how he worked his way through this exercise. What is it about writing that is important to me? Answer: I've carried stories around with me for years that I've kept bottled up in my head. I know they're good ones, and if I release them to the world, I'll have contributed to it in a way that I can be proud of. What is it about contributing to the world that's important to me? Answer: if the contribution is a good enough one, I can become a best-selling author. What is it about being a best-selling author that is important to me? Answer: if I become a bestseller, I'll be able to quit my job and write full-time. What is it about quitting my job and doing it full-time that is important to me? Answer: if I don't have to work a day job, I'll be less stressed and have more flexibility and control over my life. What is it about having more flexibility and control that is important to me? Answer: I want my freedom back. I'm not happy spending only the time in between the time clock and the alarm clock doing what I really want to do. For Ethan, his purpose was found in the gym, wanting to be in the best possible shape he could be, not just now, but forever. His goal was to one day compete in a bodybuilding show. He didn't even have to win. He just wanted to be good enough to get in. That was as far as he ever needed to go. Question: what is it about being fit that is important to me? Answer: if I'm fit, I'll be in better shape and feel more confident. What is it about being in better shape and feeling more confident that is important to me? If I'm in better shape, I'll live a healthier life. If I'm more confident, I can do things I normally wouldn't do. What is it about health that's important to me? And what are these things that I normally wouldn't do? I want to live a longer life, and at that, have a better quality of a longer life. That way, I can do the things I was afraid to do, like ride horses, stand up to bullies, and talk to girls. What part of doing those things is important to me? They make me feel alive, and that life is something worth living. It reminds me that to let even a single second piss away is more than a crime. For Alejandro,
his purpose was to become a lifeguard. This was a particularly difficult goal to attain. The superior physical shape one must be in to have such a job was tough enough already. But to make the matter even more difficult, there were limited openings for the position. In order to become one, he'd have to not just be in the best shape of his life, but in better shape than anyone else. Also, like for any other job, he had to be a likable person, since he'd be dealing with the public a lot. These were all skills he hadn't yet possessed. He'd have to swim very far in deep waters, which was difficult already because he was terrified of sharks. Then, he'd have to dive down beneath the surface, recover a 100-pound dummy, and swim back to shore with it. And all of this had to be done without showing a hint of tire and with an attitude of positivity. But he was driven to do it. Question: what is it about being a lifeguard that's important to me? Answer: it gives me the chance to be like the heroes I've always admired. What is it about being a hero that's important to me? There have been plenty of times in life I wish I had a hero there for me. There was one time in which there was, and it was a lifeguard. There's an amazing rush that comes along with rescuing someone. What is it about this rush from rescuing someone that's important to me? It lets me know that my life has meaning and I'm doing something good with it. What is it about having meaning to life and doing something good with it that's important to me? Life is fragile and life is short. I want to do something meaningful with mine, and this is it. Also, it's not just how I view my own life, but the lives of others as well. Their lives are fragile and short, and I can't stand idly by and watch them end early. I want to be responsible for preserving another person's life in my hands. What is it about preserving another person's life that's important to me? To return the favor, because someone once did for me. When I was a kid, I would constantly play at the beach so I wouldn't have to be at home and watch my parents fight with intense hatred. One time, on one of my escape days, I got caught up in a current and nearly drowned. I was ready to let go and allow death to take me, but at the last minute, a beautiful lady lifeguard pulled me up and saved me. This woman in her lovely red lifeguard one piece not only saved my life, but had shown a deeply frightened me that not everything in this world was so scary. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that this purpose was one that Alejandro would stick to through all the trials and tribulations. There's nothing a girl could do, from flaking to ghosting on him, that could take meaning away from his life with a purpose like this, and more so with a motivational reason like his. With this exercise, go as deep as you can, 7 levels ideally. You can also apply this line of thinking to everything you do in life. When making a career or business decision, or when faced with peer pressure to do something you don't really want to do, or when it comes to difficulty with women. What is it about this woman that's important to me? What is it about winning her approval that's important to me? What is it about having sex with her that's important to me? You may be surprised by how differently you look at the matter when put through this lens. Understanding your motivation will add clarity to your direction in life. You will no longer find yourself blindly pursuing things. Never again will you live your life unconsciously. Each day becomes easier to plan when you realize what important tasks must be done to achieve your overall purpose. And with this method of fortifying your motivation, you'll find a purpose that you truly enjoy doing. This is when you'll do your best work. Just like how the best employees love their jobs, as opposed to just showing up for a paycheck, the high school athlete, driven by a love of the game, does better than those that just show up because their parents make them. The writers that love writing end up producing better works than those just trying to make money. The point of your purpose is to live up to what are your true values. It is not about trying to please people, only yourself.
Thank you for listening to this free sample of the book, Never Ghosted Again, The Art of Being Irresistible, by Cairo Copeland. If you enjoyed it and want to hear or read the rest, or want to listen to it free of ads, visit reinventideal.com/ghosted. The book is available on Kindle, paperback, and Audible at reinventideal.com/ghosted.